Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I go by Jimmy, Prince, Jasmine. And most of y'all, you know, you can follow me on Instagram. It's the Prince 305. And I'm with my brother, my best friend, Cain.
Love
and I want to share a story. And I believe this story here is the story that brought me and Cain like this. You hear me?
The string.
And
I get it now.
it is the story about a string. A string of faith. And I want to share that with y'all because I want you to understand when you have faith in a string like this big. Faith, they say faith has to be as big as a mustard seed. And boy, that was faith, you hear me? One day I was at the studio and it had to be around like 11 o'clock, I would say. PM, that is. And I'm working and I'm in the studio by myself. And out of nowhere my phone rings and it's Cain on the line. Cain says, I was on my way to Tampa. He was on his way to Tampa to go see a special lady, right? So, on his way to Tampa, his car breaks down.
Oh, man.
And
Alligator Alley,
that is. Then he hitchhiked his way all the way back. Do you want to elaborate on that?
You know what? Hitchhiking is very dangerous. There's a reason they tell you not to do it. I almost ain't get back.
So, when Cain calls me, he hits me up. I'm like, I pick up the phone. And mind you, the week before, he always we had this conversation. Cain was like, anytime that you need me, I'm there for you, bro. Yeah. Always know that. And so Cain hits me up and say he needs that favor. So I'm like, it all depends what the favor is. So Cain says, bro, my car broke down. And I'm like, where? Alligator Alley. I'm like, bruh.
Right at Golden Gate, just outside of Naples.
I'm like, bruh, what? And he says, bro, I called everybody. I got one more phone call to make to see if somebody will help me go grab the car. And I'm like, what tools do we have to grab this car? Mind you, it's late. And he says, well, I got it's a string, a nylon string. And he said, that's what I have. And I'm like, all right, so give me a call if I am your last resort, right? So I hang up the phone with Cain. He's like, okay, I'm going to call, I'm hoping, I'm praying now. Mind you. You see, God working mysterious ways now. See, I hang up the phone with Cain. Now I'm back to working in the studio. And my phone rang. And believe me, I was hoping he did not call. But the call came through. And I'm like, you know what? The devil was working. He was trying to, you know how you had that little, he was on the shoulder, don't pick up. And I didn't pick up. But then, something inside me just won't let me not, like turn my back on somebody. Nah. So I picks up the phone. I call Cain back. I say, what's good? He's like, man, you all I got, bro.
Let me stop you for a second. Now, I'm going to go and I'm going to rewind a little bit and fill y'all in on my journey up until this point. I was seeing someone and it was a long distance relationship. Those are perhaps the hardest relationships to be a part of.
It is.
But I think without, if you put in the work, it can work. However, sometimes there's instances that get in the way, like a car breaking down in the middle of BFE. And it took me I broke down at 11 a.m. It was 11 p.m. by the time I called you, right?
Yeah.
I broke down at 11 a.m. between walking and hitchhiking, made my way all the way back home. And I get to the house, and I'm beat out the frame. It was the sunniest, it had to be the sunniest day in South Florida. My shoes are out of there. Did not have walking apparel. I was dressed nicely because it was supposed to be a nice time. And I have a very short Rolodex of aces. These are clutch individuals who, through whatever, whenever, wherever, you need me, I'm there. I need you, you there. However, I was one ace short in the deck because I ran through all 5 of them, and none of them were available. And I remember the conversation that Prince and I had where I'm like, yo, I'm always going to be here for you. If you need me, all you got to do is call.
That's right.
And he said the same. And now I'm in this puzzle piece of a predicament where I came back, I picked up my truck. However, I cannot operate 2 vehicles at the same time. Quite clearly, if I'm going to tow that vehicle in the back, I need a secondary driver to steer. And having found no one, I told Prince, I said, listen, I got one more person to call. If I call this person and they don't pick up, you're my last option. Because I was actually, my truck was fueled up, had my nylon string. And I was going to drive back out and attempt to pull that car by myself. And I was going, either way, I was going to do it. And I might not have came back, as you'll find out further on in the story. Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so when I get the call, and I'm like, I call Cain back, and he's like, bro, you're all I got, man.
Right.
You feel me? And I said, you know what, bro? I gave you my word. Let's make it happen. So Cain comes, picks me up. Matter of fact, I call my brother Johnny. Johnny like,
yeah, Johnny.
nah, bruh. Nah, don't go. It's not gonna work. All y'all got is a string. I say, bruh, it's trial and error.
Yeah.
You feel me? All we had was a string. Listen, a string, a nylon string. Think about this, pulling a car, right? And I'm like, bruh, it's trial and error. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
Right.
But my brother like, man, you might end up crashing, you don't know. I'm like, bruh, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But if I gave somebody my word, I'm going to keep my word, and we going to go out there and we finna make it happen.
Yeah.
And I gave my word, and I'm not going to back down. So my boy come pick me up. And we was riding.
It was a ride.
It was a ride. It was a long ride. So as we riding, God working mysterious ways, like I say. And, as you riding, it's only you and that individual. You having these conversations about life experiences, the things that you have been through in your life and experiences. And not knowing that, just these little conversations, you find out that you have so much in common. You may have different struggles, but you have all struggles. Everybody go through the same struggles, but differently.
Yeah.
And you may suffer, but you suffer differently. So, as me and Cain was talking and we having these conversations going towards this car, we find out we had a lot in common. We find out we have the same mindset. We find out a lot of things about each other. So by the time we get to the car, it was like, I'm helping. That's my brother. He became, on this one trip, man, you talk about 2 individuals in high school that never hung out. I never hung out with this man.
No.
And he'll tell you, he never hung out with me.
No.
We played on the same football team. You hear me?
Yeah,
we bled. we played for each other, but we never hung out.
After practice,
it was deuces. It was no, what's up, Dose? Are we hanging out today? It was none of that. It was just straight as whatever.
Right.
But for that to transpire to us being like, man, from that day we go out there, we tied this string. We had faith in the string, and God, like I said, God is awesome. That we tied this car up with this nylon, and I was driving the truck, and Cain put his trust in me to guide him in the right direction. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cause at the end of the day, I mean, being in that situation, I was looking back. We on the phone, we conversating like, yo, make sure it was like teamwork. In life, it's teamwork. You know, it was one of those the best teamworks you could ever see two individuals do, cause it was like a life or death situation. Cause if that string snap on the highway,
oh my,
goodbye, Cain, and I'll be riding back telling his mom a sad story, and that's not something that I would like to do.
My.
But you know, for him to put that kind of trust in me in the car, I was like, man, my whole mission was, hey, I got him back there on a string, and I got faith in the string.
I could not see the road. I was pulling a car with my SUV. Well, Prince was pulling the car with the Sequoia.
Yep.
We call him the Deuce because this truck was so massive, you can't, even if you can't see around it. And what, we had about 4 feet, 5 feet of space.
Yeah, it was very.
We were riding tight.
We were riding tight. And mind you, it's like we had to. I mean, it was one of the best. It just God. I strongly believe like God was in the works of this. It was, you know, him watching, and I believe my mom was watching over me too, and just to make sure that Cain don't go flying off with this string, and that I could guide us straight back home in one piece. And we made it back home in one piece. And that was one of the best feelings in the world. And after that day, man, there's nothing that anybody could tell me about Cain that will make me turn my back on this man.
Right.
Nothing. Because we, at the end of the day, we put each other's lives in each other's hands, and we made it work. So, you know, I just want to say, like, having faith in just a string bonded us for life.
Yeah.
For life. I mean, this is somebody I never hung out with, ever. And now it's like we hang out like every day. We talk trash every day. We go through the same struggles every day, and we deal with the same craziness every day. And it's like, who else would I want to do it with, man? Hey, like I told him today, bruh, I could struggle with you.
Do anything.
I could laugh with you. I could joke. We could do whatever, do anything, bruh. And I wouldn't have it no other way. Wow. And I thank God for that strength.
Yeah.
Have faith. That's all I'm saying. This whole story is about having faith. You don't know how God may use a bad situation to bring you and somebody close. Sometimes it may take a bad situation to see how strong your relationship may be.
Right.
So make sure, you know, keep your faith, stay strong, stay positive, and trust me, you will be tested.
You can't always, just like, I mean, we did like 60 all the way back.
Yeah,
60 miles per hour the whole way back. I did not see the road not once the whole way back.
All you seen was the back of the truck.
That's all. I was so close I could read my tag on the decal that said the inspiration. I was like, man, you know, and there was a point in time where the car got squirrely.
Yeah.
And it was then, that's why I said, man, I wouldn't have came back. Because I was figuring if I lock the wheel, the car's just going to follow me straight. But even with my hands on the wheel, for some reason, when we were going over some of the grades, that car wanted to go its way, that way, its way, that way. And I'm thinking to myself, if I was pulling this car solo, man, I would have fishtailed off the side of that road.
Yeah.
Alligator bait. Holla at me.
I'm trying to tell you. But you know what? God is good.
Dang,
I'm trying
boy.
to tell you. We checking out.
Yo.
That's a story.
About a string.
About a string. The faith of string. Nah, take that back. The string of faith.
That's tight.
I like that. Check it out, man.
Yo.